Diversity, equity, and inclusion emerges from policies, from our structural practices, but also from our social practices.
Networks of relationships are really the true asset of any organization. They're the true engine which drives innovation, productivity, profitability, retention.
Organizations are a network of conversations and relationships. And that is where that sense of belonging in how I'm seen and how I'm received, how I'm heard comes out.
It's very difficult to have the kinds of conversations we need at the individual level because for generations we've been taught in business that we're not supposed to talk about things like race or sexual identity.
Equity and inclusion and diversity, if it's only done at a policy level and we don't attend to this, the social practice that happens between people, minute by minute, moment by moment, day over days and years, then we are not attending to the holistic notion of DEI.
The relational workplace offers us a series of capacities, frames, and ideas about how to enter into conversations of connection. But by bringing relational capacities into the workplace, what we're really doing is we're creating opportunities to show up as our whole selves and to feel like our community of connection in our workplaces are just as vibrant and meaningful for us as any other relationship communities that we have.
In this activity of relating, we are noticing that things are emerging in the back and forth, that language is social, that we clarify with each other. What did you mean by that? Can I ask you a question? So we become curious. There's a certain degree of play in it because we can have the dictionary meaning of language, but we also know that the way language gets used can differ from culture to culture. It depends on our context. It depends on our positionalities. So the activity of relating is attending to context, to frames of meaning, to language, to the interaction.
The place where this happens for us, where true inclusion is born, is in individual conversations between people, in the millions of conversations that make up the workplace. People are nervous, they're uncomfortable, they're unsure of how to go forward in those conversations. And that is because they've never been allowed to have them. And for some of us who may be in positions of more privilege, we're uncertain as how to go forward in those conversations without creating more problems than we solve.
The activity by which we relate with each other is how we create this network, the network of conversation and relationships. What's happening between people in the moment, turn by turn, is organic, that will get institutionalized, will get codified over time as systemic and structural practices. And those institution norms further will shape our engagement, but our engagement will also shape the institutional norms, shifting our institutional, structural, and systemic codified practices. And seeing that as that recursive back and forth is what this book is about. Being able to hold that as a frame, as a reference frame, while we are in conversations is what we do in this book. These are invisible processes, but they're very felt and they're happening every minute, every time we're interacting. In the way we use language, in the way we understand each other, in the way we ask questions, in the way we lean in or lean out. When we sit back versus we step in. It's in the calling out, it's in the calling in. And in those moments, we are shaping that culture of belonging.